Hey guys, Lytane here, and I'm a big fan of the indie scene. Just seeing the passion that these small developers put into a game is incredible. And because of that, I'm gonna have an entire month dedicated to these people. Indie month. And what better place to start than with Norse mythology, because it's insanely popular right now. So let's see if a game based on that, Jotun, is worth it. Jotun was released in 2015 on the PC. Since its initial release, it has come out on many different platforms over the years. The version I ended up playing was the PS4 one. Jotun started its life as a Kickstarter game, making just shy of $69,000, going past its initial fund goal. I was not one of the people that backed it, but whenever I play a game that was Kickstarted, I find it fascinating. I love looking back at the campaign, seeing the original pitch and design, how the story and gameplay changed over time, and seeing how the final product ended up. Does anybody else do that? Is it just me? Okay then. Well, in Jotun you play as Thora, a warrior woman of high renown. It's too bad that she dies a very unworthy death out at sea in the middle of a storm. She winds up in, and I'm gonna butcher most of the pronunciations of this Norse mythology game, but let's see, Gudungagap, the Void, where she is given a second chance. If she can find and defeat the Jotun and impress the gods, she will be granted her place in Valhalla. You see all those giants? Well, it's time to ask them a question. Jotun is a game with few controls. You can walk around, dodge wall, perform a light attack and a heavy attack, and once you find some, activate some god powers. The controls are incredibly responsive. For one, you have full control over Thora and how she moves. Her axe has a very generous hitbox and your dodge is quick. With a heavy attack, you can change its direction while it's charging and even cancel it out with a roll. It feels really good to play, and it's very important because of the style of this game. This is pretty much a boss gauntlet type of game. Now, there is a lot more to it though. Each Jotun will have 1 to 2 levels that you must explore and find a rune hidden within it. Collect all of them and then your way to the boss opens up. These are all exploration levels with only a few enemies in select stages to interact with. Each level is based upon an aspect of the Norse mythology, such as the Tree of Yggdrasil or the Forge of the Gods. Each level is full of character, and every one of them is distinct, offering new puzzles inside as well. There is also a few things to collect, like the Ithun apple, which adds to your maximum health, and a god power to use. There are also some points of interest where Thora will explain more about the world and dive into some more of the mythology. The thing is though, despite being all unique and beautiful, they're kind of boring. With a lack of enemies in most of them and a sense of being lost without any kind of direction, had me feeling a little bored. Did I check over there? Doesn't matter, because there's only like 3 real collectibles in each stage: the apple, the god power, and the rune. The points of interest are only there if you want 100% and don't add anything to help you in the fights. Some of these levels are really hard to navigate, like the Yggdrasil tree, and others, like the Northern Sky, are easy because they have more puzzles. I love the look of all of these levels, I just wish there was more to do in them. But all of this leads you to the boss of that section. Each boss is unique and has their own attack patterns and stage. The first is a plant named Jera, which starts off pretty easy, trying to slam its fists into you. As the fight goes on, she starts summoning tentacles, which you can cut down to get rid of so they don't hit you. She also has this poison cloud where you'll need to hang out with this antidote flower or else you'll be hurt. Then about halfway, she goes crazy. She starts summoning roots to block your path, she has more tentacles, and she attacks faster. This is her desperation move, and each one of the bosses has a unique one. You'll need to keep hitting her all so you can expose her weak spot and deal extra damage. And that's just the first boss. Each boss in this game has you learning its attack patterns and chipping away at its enormous health bar. Luckily you have those god powers though, which help so much, like using Thor to deal extra damage. You can also use Loki as a doppelganger that will draw enemies' attention, or Freya in order to boost your speed. But if you want to get the platinum trophy for this game, then you will have to shun the gods. You'll have to beat them with just your axe. No powers whatsoever. When I played through this, I would do the Shun the Gods fight first, because it offered more challenge and I found it more fun. If I could beat them alone, then doing it with powers for the time trial trophies and etc. would be a piece of cake. and I had so much fun this way. As each boss is different, I had to learn new strategies to fight them. Where to stand, when to use my heavy attacks, how to dodge out of the way, all of that. Once you've beat all the other bosses, you'll be given one more fight before the end of the game, and that final boss does not disappoint. It is hard and it takes a long time. But to be fair, it wasn't that hard, all things considered. So completing the game, you unlock Valhalla Mode. This cuts away the levels completely and goes straight for the boss fights. Anything you've unlocked in the main game will be here, so all those powers and health will follow you through. The only problem with this mode is each of the bosses has been majorly beefed up. They all have more health, new attacks, new and more extreme stage hazards, and the desperation move usually triggers earlier. Now this is the true test of Thora. This is also where I had the most fun and most frustration. Once again, for the Platinum Trophy, you'll need to shun the gods. Beat these super versions with just the axe. Some bosses like Jera and Faye weren't too hard, but others like Kunin were difficult. But Hagalaz was so obnoxious that I hated her so much. Hagalaz will teleport randomly throughout the level. She only has 2 attacks. The first is a lightning beam, which will hit hard, but it's pretty easy to dodge. The other is to rain lightning on you, which is also pretty easy to dodge. But around the level are these lightning rods, and should they become charged, they will emit a little static lightning bolt which travels pretty far around the stage, and it will swarm the stage given enough time. They only deal a tiny amount of damage, but they can stun you when you're trying to dodge out of the way of one of those easier attacks. But as you're fighting and trying to dodge everything, you'll hit Hagalaz one too many times, and she'll split. Now there are 2 of them. Yeah, this was really hard, and I hate this Jotun so much. But you know what's worse? There is an achievement for not getting hit in a boss fight. You can use your powers, but any damage makes this null and void, so you can't heal. Now, you have to try dodging everything in this level without getting a single little lightning bolt to hit you. I hated it. I hated it so much. But that is probably the only boss in the game that I hate. Also, just so you know, I did do it. I beat every boss in this game without getting hit. I shunned the gods by not using powers, and I got that platinum. All my triumphs and my final fights will be uploaded separately if you care to watch them, but you know, you don't have to. So in my opinion, Jotun is worth it for its incredibly light gameplay and lovely graphics and theme. The world you explore looks gorgeous and pulls from many Norse myths and legends. The levels are huge with a gorgeous art style, but a little boring. I just wish there was more to them. But the main draw are those boss fights, and they are the most fun. With various difficulties, and if you're inclined to get all the trophies, they offer an additional challenge, which I would implore you to do. It's so much fun going for them. I got this game pretty darn cheap for only about $3.50 on the PS4 while it was on sale, so it's a very small investment for a fantastic game. I recommend you go pick it up. So guys, tell me what you thought about Jotun. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you back it on Kickstarter, or did you buy it after the fact like I did? Also, which was your favorite boss? I think mine was Kunin, just because it was visually impressive and really, really fun to try and get out of the way. And I felt like a true badass when I got Shun the Gods on Valhalla when I did that guy. So yeah, let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!